Ask Tom on Home Show.
Chinton from Pearland has got some foundation worries.
And he sent us a video to show us what he's talking about. Shintan writes, I notice hairline cracks in my fireplace. He's going to come in and look at that. And when I put a level on it, it seems to be tilted just a little on the right side. And I also observe some uneven places in my hallway floor. Hang on, he's going to get to that here in a second. You'll see in a minute where the baseboard is separated from my floor. And if I put a level gauge, there's a gap under the middle where it appears to have gone down. Tom, what he wants to know is, do these symptoms mean that he has foundation issues?
No. Those cracks are so minor. I don't even think it's movement. I just think it's a little bit. As far as, let's start with the baseboard, that was just poured that way. What's happened is the caulking, you see a lot of caulking under there, which I always think looks terrible. You shouldn't caulk a baseboard to a tile. I just think it's a horrible detail. People do it all the time. That caulking shrinks up and it looks like the whole thing's falling apart. It's not anything's moved, it's just the caulking shrunk. So if he wants to take all that caulk out and re-caulk it, that's fine, but he does not have a foundation issue at all. And on the fireplace, that's a real soft stone. And I'm sure there might have been a little movement, I don't know, but they didn't seem that serious. But I can tell you now, Chinton, you don't have a foundation problem at all.
What would he look?
Those little cracks.
Yeah, so what would have been different in that, Tom, had it been a foundation problem? What would you have seen?
Well, the floor, you would have seen nothing. Tile floors have nothing to do with foundation problems. In the fireplace, the whole thing would be leaning. And usually fireplaces don't show foundation problems unless it got really serious over the years. And if you speak to the Dutton family sometimes about them having to put a fireplace back first, that's quite the operation. And they've had some that have literally fallen down on people and actually killed them. Not due west, you say that, but it's happened in the history of Houston area where people just ignored it. But in this case, this is just a little movement around that firebox, and that stuff is just glued on there. It's not a big deal. I think that's nothing more than just the soft stone. I don't think I would have chosen that particular stone for that. And if you have a fireplace and it gets hot, if you use it, and then it cools down, you can imagine you're going to have thermal expansion and contraction, and it's going to make that stone move a little bit if it's not separated with a really good airspace. So if it's happening after the fire, then I would say it's more the way they built it. They didn't give a proper insulated airspace, so that stuff is getting hot enough to expand and contract and causing those little tiny cracks. But as far as foundation problems, you're going to see doors that stick. You're going to see windows you can't open. You're going to see big horizontal cracks over doorways and windows that open up at the top and close at the bottom. And I mean a 1/4 inch, maybe sometimes up to a 1/2 inch. Then you go outside and you'll see a brick that is opening up at the top, closing at the bottom, and it's stair step right up the side of the house. It's really obvious when you start to have foundation problems. But putting a level on stuff and walking around the house is not a sign of foundation. Don't even bother trying to do that. It's just going to make them crazy.
All right. Don't go crazy. Click on the Ask Tom button, just like Chintan did there, and send us a video like he did, or pictures even. That helps us do a better job for you like we did for him. And it gives us a real good idea what you're really talking about, because Tom will see things that you don't see. So pictures always help us to do a good job on these. And we post a new one every day on our Facebook page, at our YouTube channel. If you watch, by the way, if you watch any of our videos on YouTube, maybe you're watching this one, go ahead and give it a thumbs up and maybe share it with some friends, because they say that I'm told the algorithm, that helps make our videos easier to find, and that helps everybody, because that's what we aim to do here. And of course, you can always learn more at HomeShowRadio.com.